Hey, Star Wars fans, welcome to another edition of Rule the Galaxy, your favorite Star Wars podcast. We're so glad to be with you. My name is Nick Shesky. I'm one of our co-hosts. I would say one of our recent co-hosts or maybe one of our regular co-hosts, but this is like the first time I've been on this show again in weeks between little kids and work and craziness, and it's so great to be back on tonight. I'm subbing in for Joe, who normally sits in the pilot seat. He's taking some time to hang with his wife and do whatever the heck it is that Joe Molinaro does with his busy, crazy life. So we're so excited you're with us. We got a great show for you tonight. We're going to have some guests on, some normal co-hosts, but I do want to kick it over first to Mr. D-Doc. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I just spent last week in Lake Placid at a wedding. A lot of craziness, a lot of travel. The drive home was 7.5 hours with 3 kids in the car, so it was fun. Definitely excited to talk a little Star Wars and just hang out. I feel like my Star Wars vibes are like it's almost like Doctor Strange trying to patch the multiverse. I feel like I'm in Star Wars, I'm out. I'm in, I'm out. I'm excited to just sit down and talk a little Star Wars right now.
Yes, I completely agree. For the listeners at home, give us the age of those 3 kids you had to do a 7-hour car trip with.
Well, the first two are 18 months apart. So I have a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, newly turned 4-year-old, and a 3-month old. So
Wow. So you guys are just
they
gluttons
did
for
good.
punishment.
Yeah, they did all right. I mean, we got the little flip down screen in the minivan and, throw on some movies for them. They do eventually ask, are we almost there? And you say, no, we have about 5 hours left, but it's how it goes.
That's sauce. And last question on it. Lake Placid, did you or did you not see any alligators or crocodiles while you were there?
No alligators. There's no large alligators. That's what everybody. This is my second time going there. Last time I went was January, which it was a totally different world than this time. But no, I just pretty much saw all the Olympic stuff. It's like that town is a relic of the 1980 Olympics. That's where
Mm,
the miracle game happened against Russia. It's like there's just so many relics of the Olympics there. It's a really cool town. If you ever want to travel anywhere in the United States and feel like you're in a European country, go to Lake Placid is what I would say. It's an awesome
really?
place. Yeah.
Man, that's
Very
awesome.
unique, very unique town, very nice people. The drive there is nice. You're just cruising through mountains and then next thing you know there's this little town in the middle of these huge mountains surrounding you. There's not a bad view anywhere you walk there. It's a great place.
Now, I know we're not here tonight to talk about empty, vacant Olympic sporting arenas, uh, but I have read an article or two of these towns that host the Olympics or these cities that host the Olympics, and they build out all these incredible facilities for it, and then they leave and they just sit empty. Was that true? Where you guys read?
Well, it can be like that, but Lake Placid isn't like that just because they have things like the Goodwill Games, which I think are like college style, like Olympic winter sport type stuff. It's a big skiing, snowboarding town. Uh, they have bobsledding events because the last time I went there, there was competitive bobsledding going on, which is a wild thing to watch in real life. Actually, it's like a pod racing almost, but you're just flying down a freaking tube of ice. So yeah, it's not like it's just an Olympic town. It's more like it's this little town that the Olympics just happened to be there.
Hmm,
They're like it's pretty different.
that's cool. And thank you for mentioning pod racing because I'm pretty sure that somebody is listening to this right now going, what the hell are we listening? Like, this is an Olympic Village podcast.
Well, you
But
gotta relate it a little bit.
come on, I like it. I like pulling it all together. Hey, Alfie, our Star Wars encyclopedia is going to join us potentially at some point tonight if his kids cooperate. Get it, been there, done that. But we do have a really special guest with us tonight. Backtrack. Many of you know a couple months ago we were at the ICCC, not the ICCC, but the ICCC in Nashville. Had an amazing time. Got to meet some more than just see some cool panelists and see some really cool merchandise. One of our favorite parts was that we actually got to meet other Star Wars podcasters, not just from the Midwest, not just from the East Coast, but from all across the different country. And we may be in different locations, but like you all listeners, we're united by our love of Star Wars. And one of the booths that was in the same vicinity as our booth was a podcast called Rodian Radio. And we're trying to remember how many hours we sat in that room and just watched people do podcasts, but it was a long time when we got talking and got to know Chase over at Rodian Radio a little bit more. And we're excited to have them on with us tonight. So Chase, welcome, man. Glad to have you on the show with us. Man, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. I know we've tried to schedule a few times, but hey, we're here now. So ready to talk some Star Wars news. We got a lot of stuff that we could talk about since Kenobi's wrapped up, and got some Bad Batch. Unfortunately, delayed scheduling for Bad Batch season 2, which that's probably what I was most excited for. But there's my kid. I don't know if you can hear him. But
Hey man,
yeah, I'm doing good.
you're safe among friends here, man. That's it. Like 2-3 weeks ago, I was telling you before, I tried to host a show, and about 15 minutes before I texted the guys, I said, "There is no way this is happening. These little hellions, there's no way."
I
But
will tell
Chase,
you, he's a huge Star Wars fan. He loves Grogu. That's
come
his
on, man,
favorite.
come on. Well, Chase, tell us a little bit. So first of all, where are you located out of right now?
I am from Alabama, so down south.
Wow. So northern or southern? I asked that. I was down in Birmingham about a month and a half ago, and I was down there, and somebody made the distinction that there's a difference between southern Alabama and northern Alabama.
There's a big difference. I am North Alabama.
North Alabama.
There's a big difference. North Alabama is your I guess you could say stereotypical Alabama. South Alabama is more your party college kids vibe.
Gotcha. Okay, man. Well, good to know. So, okay, for as much time as we've spent together, I know very little about the upstart of Rodian Radio. How'd you get started? You co-host with another friend of yours from California, correct?
Yeah, Danny, he's my co-host. He wasn't able to make it tonight, but we're both toy photographers, and that's actually how we met. It was over Instagram, just seeing each other's photos and getting to talking, and now we've been doing Rodian Radio for over a year together. So it all started with me listening to Star Wars podcasts and me wanting to, I don't, where I'm from, I don't really have a lot of friends that I grew up with that like Star Wars, so I never had people to talk to about Star Wars. So I just, wanted to create my own podcast and share my thoughts with the other Star Wars community, and you know, just have like a big platform to just vent of the good, bad, and ugly of Star Wars. And Rodians are actually my favorite species in Star Wars, so hence the name Rodian Radio.
Well, so that was going to lead me into my next question. And DDOC, jump in here if you have stuff that you can think of that you want to ask. But I want to ask about Rodian because I think that was one of the things that caught my eye when we first walked in there. There were a lot of really interesting podcast names. I don't know if we'll get sued if we list them, but I don't think we will because I think everybody's trying to get their podcasts out for somebody to hear. But like Headless Ned Stark, all kinds of cool ones like that. Rodian Radio was definitely one of them. I'm gonna ask about Rodian, but what I want to know first, Chase, is just tell us about your first intro to Star Wars. How'd you come into Star Wars? How'd you fall in love with it, and how'd you get to where you are today with it?
Well, for me, when I was 2 years old, for Christmas, this was back at the time when this was before Attack of the Clones come out. So the action figures were the small 3 3/4 figures from the Phantom Menace line with the Darth Maul packaging and all that sort of stuff. And this was pre-Attack of the Clones, but it was when the action figures were being released. So we had the Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace packaging for those figures. That's been nearly 25 years ago. But for Christmas, I got a huge, like a 2-foot tall Christmas bag of nothing but action figures. And so that sort of kickstarted my love for Star Wars. And ever since then, I've been collecting Star Wars. So I've been collecting for over 22 years.
Man, come on, that's amazing.
That's how I got started into Star Wars. And if I hadn't have got that Christmas present that day, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Wow. Come on, man. Just started a love and got you going. So, okay, so now you got to explain it to me. Of the litany of Star Wars characters that exist, how how did Rodians become your favorite species character? I'm assuming Greedo is your favorite Rodian.
Yes, Greedo is my favorite rodent. I mean, I love the hammerheads, I love the snaggletooths, I love the pondababas, the ishitibs, all that stuff. But when you see a Rodian just it's like a sore thumb. It sticks out in every scene it's in. Uh, Even the Clone Wars, if you watch some of the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch, you see a Rodian in the background. It's the first thing your eye goes to, over a Jawa or a Tusken, and I just love the concept of Greedo's outfit, like the turquoise pants, the brown vest, and you gotta love the language that they speak, man. The Rodian, the sound of their voice, they're just fascinating to me. George Lucas is such an amazing creator.
Yeah, for real. Well, okay, so I'm curious then, with Greedo being one of your favorite characters in Star Wars, we've probably talked about this at nauseum on this show to a degree. So if you're listening and you're like, man, I can't believe they're bringing this up again, you can just suck it and get over it because we're going to talk about it again. But really, D-Doc, did I just tell our listeners to suck it? I apologize to everybody out there for it's been a long day, y'all. You know what? So Chase, very first intro to Greedo, he gets blown away by Han Solo. Help me understand your emotions regarding that scene. And although we have it from George Lucas's mouth, who shot first?
Well, Han only shot.
I like it.
Han only shot. But I do like to. I'm the type of person that likes to, because the Star Wars fan base now, it's so divided and it's just full of micro fans, is what I call them. It's just people who just nitpick everything out of Star Wars, whether it's good or bad. But if you watch that scene, the McClunky that came out of it, out of the new re-release that they did for right before the Phantom Menace came out on Disney Plus, they've got the special edition, which is it's got McClunky in it, which the original didn't. And I don't know why, but McClunky has turned into such a controversy through the Star Wars fan base, and I have no idea why. But if you translate that in Rodian, it means this is the end for you, which it fits that scene pretty well. But as you said, who shot first? Han only shot in the original version. But in the new special edition, they both shoot at the same time, but Greedo misses.
That's a pretty bad shot to miss from that close proximity. And also, what a convenient translation of you can't understand another word he says. McClunky is very clearly said, and oh, it just so happens that that means this is the end for you. What is
Well,
he? Anakin
and
Skywalker on
Sebulba,
Mustafar? What is this?
well, Sebulba says it in the pod race scene when his pod racer
Does
explodes.
he?
Yeah, or in one scene in the Phantom Menace,
Oh wow.
Sebulba says it. And then, if I'm not mistaken, it was said in the book of Boba Fett. So it's yes, it was. No, it was Mando season 2, the post credit scene with Boba kills Bib Fortuna. Bib Fortuna says McClunky.
That's right. Now that you say that. Wow. Okay, I stand corrected. Apparently, it's used more than one time in Star Wars canon. And so we have it there. We got a bunch of different questions that we ask guests when they come on. D-Doc, what do you got, man?
Well, I'm just thinking of the word McClunky now because I just always look at his mouth moving and just figure that he's talking a ton of crap to Han Solo. He just says, "I'm done with this crap," and just shoots him, you know. So
That's pretty much what he says.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's so questions from Rule the Galaxy podcast. Now, what is your favorite lightsaber hilt? That is one that we always get into on Rule the Galaxy
Lightsaber hilt.
podcast. And we usually save it to the end, but I'm just
Bring
asking
it,
it now.
D-Doc. I like it. Get right
Well,
to it.
I've always been a fan of Revenge of the Sith Kenobi's saber. I've always been a fan of the design of it and Luke's saber from Return of the Jedi. But I would have to go with Luke's for right now. But I do have this dark saber here that's pretty sweet, and it does have the attachable blade.
Now, for our viewers who are watching on
YouTube.
man, that thing is sharp. Tell us about this. You just got this, right?
I did. I just got this about a month ago at Galaxy's Edge in Florida.
Okay.
It was real cool. It was so crowded though, but if I know it revolves around the sequels, but if you're a Star Wars fan, I don't like the sequels, and I don't want to bring up that conversation.
Oh, we're
But
going there tonight, Chase. Just because
okay,
you
all
said that,
right,
man.
then
Get
all
ready.
right, good.
Bring it
Good.
on, man. Thunderdome style.
Okay, so I hate the sequels. They were garbage movies. They're fun to watch. They're fun to watch, but they're garbage movies and they make no sense. Like all they're trying to do is re-release the original trilogy in a new way. But if you go to Galaxy's Edge, it revolves around the sequels. But as a Star Wars fan, I definitely recommend going at least once because it's so neat. You get to walk through Batu, which to me it feels kind of like a outskirts Tatooine to me. But there's a cantina there. You get to see the Falcon. You can see all the artwork and sort of villages and structure that is in Star Wars. But the lightsaber shop, we had to stand in line for probably 45 minutes just to get a lightsaber. And so I wasn't going home empty-handed. I ended up buying 3. So
wow.
And they're very relatively cheap. They're about 100 to 150 each. So, but they all come with the case. They all come with detachable blades. They're very cool. But probably the coolest thing to me though was getting to eat the food that was there because it's all Star Wars related food, even though it's food. It's regular food. It's just made to look different. It's got different names, but the food was probably the best part. And they had these souvenir stands that you get Coca-Colas out of that look like thermal detonators.
That's pretty cool.
So I brought one of those home, and the blue milk. It was fun trying blue milk, although I make my own homemade blue milk, which is better than what they had. Theirs is more of like a tropical drink, but the original trilogy, New Hope blue milk, is just sugar milk. It's just blue colored sugar milk.
Wow. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
I want to say I recently went to Galaxy's Edge, and I just had an episode pretty recently where I hosted Jake James Lugo, where he had went and we went in depth, and I really enjoy it myself too. And I'm not like a big sequel trilogy thumper myself, but like when you're in that world there and you kind of get lost in it, me personally, it's like you really
Doesn't
just feel
feel
like you are
sequels.
in it.
It just feels like Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, yeah, you know, you see a stormtrooper walking by and it happens to be First Order. It's like it really doesn't even matter to you, honestly.
Now
It's just like
I
you're
will
there.
say, me and my buddy went, and when we went to get our lightsabers, he asked if they had Han Solo's dice for sale, and the lady said that's not a part of this universe, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, but it is, whether it's sequels or not, it's the same universe.
Yeah, and the dice are in the sequel. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
They're hanging from the thing, from the Falcon's cockpit. What do you mean they're not? Oh yeah, that would frustrate me too. That would be. I've told the story before of. I won't tell it again, but man, those kind of incongruities, those drive me nuts. Man, it's good. Okay, so we got another one that we ask people when they come on. Of all the movies, which is the one you go back to over and over and over and over again?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Why Jedi?
Jedi was probably the one that I'm most attached to because I seen it at the time when I was able to understand what I was watching. Outside of the prequels, where I grew up with, the original trilogy is always going to be my favorite. But Return of the Jedi, we got Luke as a Jedi, we got Vader showdown, you got the Emperor. First time we see Scout Troopers, you got Ewoks, Jabba's palace, Boba Fett. Just it's all nostalgic for me, but it's my favorite movie, and I know a lot of people give it crap because of the Ewoks, but I have no problem with the Ewoks. I'm like, it's Star Wars, it works.
I got a buddy, Chase, that he I know him through the church that I go to, and he says Dr. Kyle, and he says the only good Ewok is a dead Ewok. And I give him crap for that all the time, but
it broke my heart. It broke my heart seeing the Ewok that died, and then the other Ewok kind of like try to wake him up.
Yep, he was dead. He ain't getting up. He's gone. Man, that's awesome, Chase. Well, Chase, we'll keep talking a little bit more, and get to know some more. So I'm sure being a podcaster, your takes will come up even as we jump into some stuff. But I would love to jump into some just news that's happened in the last couple of weeks, and just kind of there's plenty of stuff to talk about throughout. And I want to start with one of the ones that you mentioned, and this is where I'm going to need to be brought up to speed a little bit. But you were mentioning the Bad Batch delays that have happened yet again. For those that are at home that don't know about this, D-Doc, Chase, tell us about what's going on and what the heck is happening with the Bad Batch right now.
All I know is that I saw a post that it was on Disney Plus's September schedule, and now it's just no longer there. There's been no talk of it or anything. It's just no longer there. And Chase might know more than me on that, but I just know that it kind of did a little disappearing act from the schedule.
So for me, I feel like, a few days ago we got that announcement that the behind the scenes Kenobi thing is coming September 8th, which is Disney Plus Day. My predictions for that is that's the time. I don't see why they would schedule a behind the scenes footage for no reason. I feel like they're going to announce a season 2 with that behind the scenes footage. But with them taking Bad Batch season 2 and delaying it, but we're still getting Andor around the same time, it makes me wonder if they've got a secret project that they're announcing to take place after Andor, and that's why they've pushed Bad Batch. Because Bad Batch and Andor are supposed to premiere about the same week.
Interesting. I don't think I knew that. That'd be because Andor is September 21st. That's correct.
I believe so. Yes, we get the first 3 episodes,
which got pushed back because it was going to be August 31st.
And yeah, Bad Batch was supposed to release first. So I speculate there's some sort of secret project that they're just going to like shove in there real quick, and then pick up with Andor. Who knows? It might be some short. It might be like the droids thing that they've been working on.
Interesting. Chase, you said that was the one that you're the most excited for. Tell us about that. Why of all the projects that are coming up, Bad Batch season 2 is the one that's got you most hype?
Clone Wars, man. It's all nostalgic for me. I believe season 2 of the Bad Batch is going to be almost as good as Clone Wars season 7.
Wow, that's a big prediction.
I feel like it's going to be right there on the same vibe. Bad Batch season 1 was good, but it left a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of plot holes and story arcs that they didn't really explain. But with season 2, Dave Filoni is a genius, man. If Dave Filoni has anything to do with season 2, we're going to see cameos like crazy. Mace Windu, we're going to see more of the Rebels. And, Dave Filoni likes to tie everything together in very clever ways. And that's the one I'm most excited for, because you can do more with animation than you can do with live action.
Yeah, I get that. I'm excited for it in the sense that, to your point, if they left a lot of questions unanswered, I feel like they were working towards connecting the prequels with the sequels, with that whole cloning. The amount of times they went back to, we're stealing away the Kaminoans to, work on the cloning more, and they just kind of left it ambiguous and didn't really answer any of that. To me, Joe on the show has always talked about how could there be an animated show in between the original trilogy and the sequels that would kind of tie together, and make the sequels better? Kind of like how Clone Wars, when it first started, was a good show, but then it became awesome when it helped connect the dots between different parts of the timeline. Could there be something, and could this cloning thing be the start of them kind of gearing up for something like that?
Well, I will tell you, I have my own. There's a 30-year gap from Jedi to Force Awakens. There's a ton of story there that nobody really knows outside of the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett stories. This is a perfect opportunity for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau to put their heads together and say, hey, look, we've already got Luke. We got the technology to do Luke. We had Luke in multiple episodes of live action. We've got all the stuff here. I don't see why they would set up in that episode of the Book of Boba Fett Luke starting his school just for them to introduce it and then not mention it. This is a perfect opportunity for them to tie in Luke's beginning school and introduce young Kylo maybe a CGI Han, Leia, a Chewie. Uh, in that 30-year time jump, there's a lot of story there to tell. Plus, we have the Ahsoka series. My predictions for the Ahsoka series is we're going to see Reva become like a gray Jedi, and we're going to see Ahsoka meet back up with Luke and it explore more of Luke's school. I feel like that would be the great way to go about this time period that they're in. But then again, it's Disney. Disney likes, if Disney was smart, they would realize their money is in the prequel trilogy right now, because people who grew up with the prequels are the same age of people who grew up with the original trilogy when the prequels came out.
Yeah, that's not, you're not wrong on that. So, okay, you mentioned, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. You were talking, Book of Boba a second ago. Article came out not too long ago where they were interviewing Fennec Shan,
Ming Na Wen.
Ming Na Wen. They were interviewing her, and she said, I don't know if it's happening. Yeah, that's nice. Look at that. We got the Black Series, Fennec Shan. You can see it.
Now, here's my other Boba Fett.
Oh,
yeah, they are right there. Beautiful.
Now, this Boba Fett figure was absolute trash. I'm just gonna be honest. Black Series dropped the ball on this figure.
Tell us more. Why?
But I took all of his skirt and replaced it with cloth and gave him Tatooine sand dusting. You can't really see it through the package, but I'll try to do the best I can. There you go. There's a little better shot.
Man, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, they look great together.
So she came out and she said, she wants season 2 of Boba. She'd be thrilled to come back, play it. But they said something to the effect of, it's closed lip about what's actually going to happen. It raised a question in me. She goes, I would want to do Boba season 2. I'm curious, after watching Book of Boba Fett, again, we somebody on the show said before, the Star Wars we have is better than the Star Wars we don't have. So don't get picky when they send it out. Take that sentiment, compartmentalize that for a second. Do you think that would be something worth, like, of all the stories that we could tell, would you want to see a Book of Boba season 2?
Book of Boba. I enjoyed the season. I actually liked it a lot better than Mandalorian. And I know a lot of people's blood pressure just skyrocketed from saying that. But Boba Fett is literally like my all-time favorite Star Wars character. No, I don't want to see a Book of Boba Fett season 2, but I'm not done seeing Boba Fett, if that makes sense. I feel like Boba Fett is that type of character where the less you know, the better character he is. And I get where they were going with the Book of Boba Fett, but you could tell that they didn't know exactly where they wanted to put Boba. Like the whole Rainbow Power Ranger Skittle biker gang, like that made no sense. We barely got any Chrysanthemum. It was a perfect opportunity for them to bring back flashbacks of Empire Boba, because we didn't get any Empire Boba. I get where they were going, but I feel like they need to leave him alone in his own series and just keep him as a cameo character like they did with Mando season 2.
D-Doc, what do you think?
I honestly think when it comes to the we're getting Star Wars, so we should be happy kind of thing, I felt like that for a while, but honestly, it's like I'm a fan of a lot of other things, and we're getting a lot more Star Wars than a lot of the other things I'm a fan of right now, I feel like. So it's like there's good writers out there. There's a ton of good shows. It's like, I mean, I would like to see a second season of Book of Boba Fett, but the problem is they're probably like, I guarantee that there's people at Disney who maybe didn't like the way that the series went and would feel bad if they came back with a season 2 and said, yeah, we're going to get a different director. Yeah, we're going to get a different writer or whatever, because the tone's already been set for that season 1. So I'll say, like, looking back on Book of Boba Fett, there's a lot of great moments that I did enjoy. As that show's gotten further away, I haven't watched it recently, but I look back on it, I'm like, that was a damn good show, and it was fun how it tied into Mandalorian. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But I mean, to me, I'm getting to the point where I think it's okay to be a little bit critical with this stuff, because it's like we are getting a decent amount we're getting a decent amount of content now, and I guess things can get a little washed down when you're getting more. Everything might not be that banger that you're looking for, but I don't know. I've been getting a little more critical of Star Wars lately. I used to not be critical of it all, kind of. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm watching like, yeah, I wish this didn't happen. Like I
Right.
don't know.
I get that. You know what? When I read that, I went and found that article when Joe sent it, or I clicked on it, read through it. I had this weird check of, I don't know if I want that. And the more I dug into it, I thought I do want it if we don't try to make him the good guy of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like everything in season one had a little bit of a twinge of this weird, like, redemptive arc. And part of me is like, just let the dude be bad and let him go. Like when he did the whole, Jabba ruled through fear, I plan to rule through respect. A little part of me was like, no, I want you to rule through fear. That's kind of like I want a Star Wars Godfather. Kind of like that's I would love to see it if it kind of went to that. And I don't know. I felt like the Book of Boba on its own was so good, but it felt like it was okay, we finished the Mandalorian. We got to keep the hype going. This was such a great character reaction when we brought him in for the Mandalorian. Let's see where this goes. Kind of to your point, Chase, we didn't really know where to land the plane. So again, if it's Star Wars, I'm gonna watch it. There's a very high chance. Even the Lego Star Wars Vacation, right? I'm watching
That was
that
great.
because it's Star
That was
Wars.
great.
I'll watch it. It's
It was
on.
great.
My 2-year-old loved it. He thought it was great.
It was great.
Yeah.
And when you see Boba Fett come in with Slave One, the Book of Boba Fett theme song starts playing. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, it's
But I
awesome.
look at it as it's called the Book of Boba Fett. So it's like you're watching a book. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Lego as well, they did show Luke's training academy in that a decent amount as well. Back to that Luke Skywalker training academy, dropping off little Kylo at summer camp with Uncle Luke.
You
I
what?
watched it with
I've
my
been
kid too.
I've been really happy with, like, they did the Christmas special one, and I thought that was so much fun.
It was great.
That the Halloween one that they did, and what I like is I feel like they do such a great job of poking the things that they know all of fan culture is poking.
It's because it's not canon. That's why they do it.
Yeah, but it's still, to me, I go,
But I
man, I
loved
think
it.
that's
It's
fun.
funny. The best part in the Christmas one is when all three Kenobis meet each other. And
Yeah.
they're all like, hello there.
So good. So good. Speaking of Obi-Wan behind the scenes, kind of the making of September 8th coming out. D-Doc, I know you've talked a ton about uh the volume and talked about, your love-hate relationship with the volume. And let's get back to, you know, actually filming outdoors, which we will talk Andor because I want to talk about that. We got some stuff to talk when it comes to that. I'm curious for you though. What are you excited to see how they did? What are the things that you're like, man, I don't really care. Like when it comes to this September 8th one, what are you excited for? And what are you just meh?
Uh, for this, I'm not looking forward to it because I've already seen the photo of Anakin wearing his Revenge of the Sith outfit in it, where they totally cover it up with a cloak and you only see like half of his face. And I'm like, I said it in the group text. I think I'm gonna see stuff that like was either dropped or whatever, and I'm just gonna be like, I wish they did that in this show. Like, there's don't get me wrong, I'm not a hater or anything, but as Kenobi's gone on and I've thought about it more, and I've thought about some of the other shows outside of Star Wars that I've watched since then, I can't help but to feel like I wish that I enjoyed Kenobi more than I did, honestly. And
Yeah.
maybe that's just me. I'm not putting that on anybody else. It might just be my own feelings towards it. But I mean, there's things I wish they did, but I'm still very excited to see Ewan McGregor in behind the scenes and the two of them interacting with each other and what went into it. I mean, I still have a ton of respect for the people who made the show and everything. So I am excited to see that part of it.
Yeah. Chase, what about you, man?
Well, all I can say, if I was in control, it would have been fan service nonstop. We would have had Darth Maul, we'd have had Vader.
I was
we'd
gonna
have
say,
had-
wait a minute. So it wasn't fan service?
Oh no, it was, but not to the extent to where I would call it fan service. The whole Vader, the season finale, the whole Vader Obi-Wan, Twilight of Apprentice 2.0 kind of deal. That was fan service, and that was great. But there's simple things. I thought the show was amazing. I really enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed seeing Ewan and Hayden come back and do their parts, especially the flashback scenes with the training sequence. That was just beautiful. But I would have threw in fan service after fan service after fan service in a show like Kenobi. I would have had clones. I would have had Cody. Would have had Yoda, Mace Windu, flashbacks, all that sort of stuff.
So just throw the whole kitchen sink.
Yes,
fan service
I would have threw all the
I see.
prequel movies into this season.
I see.
Whether it be flashbacks or Force Ghost talking with Kenobi, just something.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm excited about really in seeing this, that I feel like they've done a good job with all the making of, kind of stuff they've done. I love, and I really, at some point we got to go back and we got to talk about it, because I didn't get a chance to talk about it, I don't think, but the ILM documentary that they made was one of the most amazing, cool, fascinating things I'd ever seen. Not just for Star Wars, but how they just advanced technology of movie making. And when you sit back and you go, holy crap, every movie I love has basically come through ILM in some capacity. And so I nerd out really hard about the advancements of technology. I thought the Mandalorian one, where they explained the volume, it like invigorated something in me of like, wow, that is the coolest thing. Not just the volume, but cool that there was somebody that went, there's a better way that we can do this. And what if we did it? So much so that I was, I think I talked about this at one point, but I watched the Robert Pattinson, the Batman that came out. And I was sitting there going, this is visually one of the most beautiful movies I've seen in a long time. I bet you they used the volume on this. And then I Googled, and sure enough, they shot almost that whole movie in the volume. And there's like an HBO behind the scenes, how they did it. And for me, that is where I just like, I love Star Wars when it's pushing the edge of like creating new technology. Now, I'm not assuming that will be here in Obi-Wan, but I also love just seeing how they reinvent things and think of different things. And there's a part of me that dies a little bit inside, because I'm like, oh, it's not real. And you made this in a soundstage somewhere in Southern California. But at the same point, I love it, and I think it'd be cool. So Disney Plus Day is September 8th.
Yes.
And the only
now with Andor, I don't think they used the volume too much, because that one was shot overseas. It was not in the United States.
Which is a great segue into what I want to spend some time talking about today. Andor. We are, man, when we're shooting this, we're a little less than a month out from Andor coming. Back when they announced all these shows, true confession, it was one of the ones I saw that I went, what? Like, I don't know, like whatever. And Brent Dykman, who's one of our co-hosts on here, Brent, hope you're doing well, man. Hope you and your family are doing well. When you mentioned that, look at me, when you, like, he's sitting here with us, when he mentioned that, he said, I'm most excited about this because of the new characters. I will say this, the closer we've got to Andor, the more the excitement is growing in me. And that trailer, the trailers that we've gotten so far have looked just simply stunning. And I wonder how much of that is because we're on location actually shooting things like how we did it back before we got too fancy and got
to me, this series looks like it was shot the same way Rogue One was shot.
Yeah. And D-Doc, that gets you excited too, because I remember you talking about getting back out. I know you've talked about it ad nauseum on here too, but getting back out into the real world and filming.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I have a bubble in my throat. I'm really excited for it myself. I mean, I'm actually going to see Rogue One on Saturday with my little guy, which hopefully it's not too painful for him to see. I'm kind of like, I actually told him tonight, and this is still on the topic, but he's never been to the movie theater to see a Star Wars movie. Rogue One is coming out in IMAX. And I'm like, I can't pass up the opportunity to take him to see a Star Wars movie in the movie theater, because when are we getting another Star Wars movie in the movie theater? Which they're also showing an exclusive section of Andor, apparently, either before or after the film.
Really?
Which is pretty exciting. Yeah. So I was actually talking to him about it tonight, and I'm just like, just so you know, like the movie we're gonna go see, there's a lot of like explosions and fighting and stuff like that. Like he's almost 6, but it's a little intense. It's not like it's not like the original trilogy Star Wars. There's a lot of battles in it. So but he says to me, he's like, well, it's just a movie though, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's not true with Star Wars because that's in a galaxy far, far away. And I was like floored when he said that, just because if me and him ever watch Star Wars, which I haven't, I don't feel like I've fully ever gotten that, like, let's watch Star Wars and he's fully
Sure.
absorbed everything yet. He's really close, but he always asks me to read the beginning to him, the scroll in the beginning and everything. So I'll say, in a galaxy a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So he's taking that quite literal. I'm just
Man,
worried about Borg Gullet. I think he's going to be a little freaked out by Borg Gullet.
you know what? Sit close, get good snacks. That's where you introduce a new snack and you go, oh, hey, yeah, don't look at that. Just look at look, Sour Patch Kids. Here you go, man. You got some.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm gonna blame Joe because Joe
if
said he threw Joey into the fire, so that's what I'm doing with my little guy this weekend.
Me too, man.
if you think Rogue One is extremely explosive now, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but back when they were wanting to shoot that, the director that they had, I don't think was working out for him. So they got rid of him and they brought Gareth Edwards in. They told Gareth Edwards, I want a Star Wars war film.
Yeah.
Gareth Edwards made them a war film and they said, this is too much. So just imagine if we got an actual war film with Rogue One. If I'm not mistaken, I did see reports on the one that he created. It was borderline Saving Private Ryan Star Wars war film.
Sheesh. I don't want that.
I think Gareth Edwards was also part of Saving Private Ryan too. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had a hand in that movie too. So just imagine if we got a Saving Cassian Andor movie.
Gosh, I don't know, man. I think that's what I like about Star Wars. I think, when one of the things I am excited about, that article that just came out that said, this is gonna feel like real life Star Wars. What I liked about Rogue One so much is I felt like it was kind of gritty, just from how they shot it to how it felt to, like, oh, we're seeing a different side of, even a darker side of the Empire that you've seen before. And the more I looked into it, I didn't realize the guy that is writing this, directing this, or at least at the center of it, wrote all of the Bourne movies, like the Jason Bourne, Matt Damon. He wrote all 4 of those, which are some of my favorites. I love those movies. And he wrote the movie Michael Clayton. If you ever saw that with George Clooney, which is another fantastic, not action movie, but just from a straight up drama acting, just kind of dark, kind of gritty, kind of, there's a cynical side to the justice system and what's going, like, for me, I'm so excited to see even the little soundbite in the trailer where he's explaining how you sneak into an Imperial facility. Like, they don't ever expect you to do it because they're so fat and sassy sitting up somewhere. He didn't say the word sassy, but because they're just fat sitting around. I'm deeply excited for this, and I hope it pays off.
Now, back at the beginning of the year, I think, no, it was last year, the end of last year, I said on our show, before we even got anything Andor, just the announcement, I said, this is going to be the show out of all shows this upcoming year that will knock the socks off of everybody. And the reason I say that, this is prime time Star Wars. They can introduce any character from the prequels or originals that they want to. This is a perfect storytelling moment. This takes place literally right after Revenge of the Sith. So you've got all these side stories that you can intertwine with this show. And I think it's a 16 episode, it might be a 16 or 18 episode series. So they have plenty of wiggle room to put anything in here. We're going to see Vader. We're going to see Tarkin. We're going to see Krennic. We're going to see more Death Troopers. We're going to see Saw Gerrera. So that makes me wonder if we're going to get a live action Bad Batch.
Well, you know what I'm most excited for, and I think this is what got in my craw a little bit about Kenobi was I felt like I felt like we went back to the well so much that like I think you could have made Kenobi without using both Luke and Leia
Hmm.
in that, and it would have been just as good, if not better, because again, you're living in a galaxy with trillions of other people that could be involved. And that guy who is writing for this, they asked him a question about fan service, and he said, "This isn't fan service. What we're going to do in this show, this is like." The way he said it, there's no frosting, it's all meat. So the idea of you know, I'm hoping what that means is that the idea of like, hey, we threw in this character just to kind of bring it all together and make fans go, oh, I know who that is. Like, I actually hope, to Brent's point, that there is just a plethora of new, and it just kind of throws you in, especially, um, if you're not a huge Star Wars person, then everybody's kind of coming in on the same ground of knowing. Now they'll do stuff, I'm sure, like they did it in Rogue One too, right? Where they did the fan service of was it the Doctor and
Mon
the
Mothma and Bail Organa.
yeah, and when they're walking through the street and he bumps into the
Oh yeah, you're talking about Dr. Evazan and
yeah, and
Bob.
he runs into them and everybody goes,
He
"Oh, I know."
doesn't like you.
Yeah,
I don't like you either.
that's pretty good. So yeah, man, I'm excited about it, and I hope in the coming weeks it just continues to um, build a
Yeah,
little
and
bit.
that's what Rogue One was to me is like, and honestly, it's like if I have any friends who are I'm trying to get back into Star Wars because like all these people who I know who maybe have just watched the original trilogy or whatever, and I always am just trying to push people to watch more Star Wars and not try to be too annoying about it. I'll just be like, watch Rogue One. Watch
Yeah,
Rogue One, start there. They're like, oh, well, do I need to watch the prequel? I'm like, just watch Rogue One and tell me how you feel about that movie. And it's like, you're going to walk out of that film with chills when you see the final scene of that movie, because to me, it was like, and I think it's exactly what Andor is doing to us right now is Rogue One was a Star Wars movie that's coming out. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go see it. And
But you're not
then you went and
expecting
saw
like
it.
a
Yeah. Yeah. You went and
yeah.
saw it and you walked out the theater just like, yo, that was
did that just
wild.
happen?
Yeah.
Well, and I also feel like unless you're Alfie, I went into Rogue One not really like I knew the concept of what it was about, but I had no idea like how it would go, like what was going to happen and what we were going to see and what we were going to do, or like what was going to happen in it. So I was shocked watching this movie going, this is so freaking good. How did I not know that this was going to be this good? And I feel still like Andor, it's not like, how do I say this? It's not like Obi-Wan where we at least had a like, okay, we have the time frame in the perimeter of like where we know this is at, and something's going to happen, and we're probably going to see Inquisitors because we like this feels like it still has enough unknowns that they could do literally anything with it, and that to me
There's
excites
no
me.
information about it. We have
That's
no
it.
idea what's coming. That's
That's
why I
it.
said this is perfect prime time Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree, and I think for storytelling purposes, you're right. I think it's
Yeah.
killer. I'm going to continue to try to have impeccable segues. And so, speaking of storytelling, um, I don't know, Chase, if you're a Star Wars book guy at all. I know that we've
Somewhat.
gotten somewhat. I know that we've gotten D-Doc into some of the books. That was one of my first loves in it. We got some announcements about a couple different books recently. One of them that ties directly into this new uh, Jedi Fallen Order, I guess Jedi Fallen Order Survivor.
Survivor.
Now, it's called Fallen Order Battle Scars. It's coming, and it's supposed to be a connector that's going to connect us from the last book into this new game that's coming up, and I am here for it. I think that could be. I have no clue what it's about. No information. It's coming April of no. March of 2023 is when they say it'll be. Do we have any? Do you guys know if we have a release date yet on that video game?
I could look it up here real quick because I think they might have a date. Not so sure though.
Gotcha. I
But
personally love when they do this crap. It gets me excited, and when they pay it off and they do it right. Uh, there were a couple of the Journey 2 books that I thought were amazing. Which remind me, we're going to come back to that. But a couple of those books that filled in some of the gaps of what happened before you got there. And I'm sure the video game will be so good that you don't necessarily even need the book. Like you could play it and not need it. But I just feel like it enriches the experience when you know things that are going on. And I just think Cal Kestis is a badass character that I just want to see more of.
Speaking of Cal Kestis, this is where I say the Ahsoka show has got potential to, because we haven't seen much, but I don't know if you've seen the leaked footage from Star Wars Celebration for the trailer for Ahsoka. But it's got clips of live action Hera Syndulla, and we know Sabine's in it, so we're getting Rebels. All right. That would be a perfect show for them to. We don't know the story or the line or the direction that this is going, but I feel like this would be a great opportunity for Ahsoka's story to hunt down surviving Jedi. This would be a great introduction for a live action Cal Kestis.
Wow.
And Cameron Monaghan, I mean, I have no doubt he would say yes to that because he looks just like his character. I mean,
I just had a vision of that episode starting off almost like the Mando episode in Book of Boba Fett, where it's like it just starts you off like in a dark cave or something, and you see a guy light a lightsaber, and you just see BD1 walking next to him. And
we already saw BD1 in the Book of Boba Fett. That's not. I mean, how did BD1 end up there?
Yeah. So you get that the episode just starts with like a 20-minute Cal Kestis story, and Ahsoka like finds.
I'd be fine with that.
That'd be dope.
That would be really cool.
And Nick, I did see that they've teased that the book might release around the same time as the game. So from Game Rant, it says March of 23.
And then Ahsoka comes out summer 2023. So it's all right there together.
All coming together. I would be pumped about that. They're also coming out with an Art of the Fallen Order Survivor book. I'm saying this wrong. It's just Jedi
Survivor is the second one.
Yeah. But there's an Art of book that's coming that I think will be cool. I like that stuff. I'll be totally honest. I'm not the guy that's ever going to go out and be like, you know what? I need to buy the Art of book and have it in my house. I'm sure it's awesome, but I do get excited about more and more Star Wars stories that are connecting. Especially, I thought the extra characters of that game included and, introduced, I thought was so fun, and I'm excited to see where they continue with those characters. Chase, you mentioned the Ahsoka show earlier. We did see the clip where we saw the live action Hera and the live action Sabine Wren. Natasha Liu Bordizzo, did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is playing Sabine Wren. I didn't know her from very much, but after looking her up, I think that she could be a fantastic cast as Sabine Wren. She's kind of got the look, kind of got the vibe, I think.
And she was in it was some old school martial arts movie. I can't remember the name.
It was a Netflix, Crouching Tiger.
Crouching Tiger, yes.
Hidden Dragon.
Yep. Yeah. That's what she's in. So she's already got the martial arts background. So that makes me wonder if we're going to see a little bit of action from Sabine.
Oh, I hope we do. You would think that she was awesome in Rebels. So,
and she is a Mandalorian, and season 3 of Mando is all about Mandalore. So there's a bridge there that could connect.
Is Star Wars creating their own Infinity War Endgame setup where they're going to bring all these together? And if so, I don't know if I'm here for that.
You know who the Thanos is going to be? Thrawn.
Interesting.
It's going to be Thrawn.
Because I would go the other way on that. And I would say, I'm curious if the time that Ezra has been away with Thrawn has shifted something. And now we're going to see like what we saw in the Book of Boba Fett, where you have this historically bad character who now is recast in canon as just this misunderstood guy who his Tusken family was killed. And now he wants to make a new path. I'm tired of bounty hunting, and I want to come back and, rule with justice on this totally unjust planet with unjust people who don't want.
Like a bentha.
I don't know. I don't know where I fall into it, but I'm excited, and I hope we get some more out of that
We know
so
Thrawn
cool.
is coming. I mean, or they wouldn't have dropped the name. So we know Thrawn is coming.
Which was freaking awesome, by the way. I was watching that with my dad in Mandalorian season 2 when that came on. He's not a Star Wars book guy. He's a Star Wars watcher. He'll watch stuff with me. But when they dropped that Thrawn, I about pooped my pants in the living room. And my dad was like, "What? What? Who is it?" And then we had to pause it and I had to explain to it who it was. And then we went back
To
and
me,
watched
I
it.
feel like Thrawn is the most sinister Imperial that there is. He's just got the sinister vibe about him, more than Tarkin had. I could see Thrawn trying to be like Moff Gideon. They're all teacher pets to Palpatine. So I could see Thrawn trying to bring Palpatine back in a sense. And then that would tie in the sequels. Oh, that's how Palpatine somehow returned. Ain't garbage. Get
And if
out of
we've
here.
learned anything, anybody can come back at any time, at any moment. All you need is a floating scroll in space to just explain that you've returned and it can be fixed. So guys, I got 2 more things for our show. We've been going for a while, but I'm curious from you guys. Any news, pertinent topics you want to talk about tonight?
I'll let you go, Chase. I'm thinking right now.
Just the new Black Series stuff where Hasbro is now canceling orders for figures.
Oh,
I told Danny, we were talking about this, and he's like, "What do you think about this?" I said, "I'll tell you what's going to happen. These figures are going to instantly skyrocket in price." And 2 days later, Crosshair and Hunter, which are 2 figures that they canceled pre-orders for, are now over $100 retail price.
Goodness gracious, man.
We had the Joe actually pre-ordered because I don't have a Captain Rex Black Series, and Joe had asked us, "Hey, you guys want Captain Rex?" And I think me and Alfie were just like, "Absolutely, I would love to have a Captain Rex Black Series." And then I saw a post, "Hey, Captain Rex, those Black Series from Entertainment Earth, right?" They were just like, "Yeah, that's those were canceled by Hasbro." And I sent it to Joe. I was like, "Hey, are these the ones you pre-ordered for us?" And he was just like, "Oh my God, yep, they're canceled."
It's
It's
Captain
devastating.
Rex, it's the Bad Batch, it's Asajj Ventress. It's like all the recent reveals.
Yeah.
And the problem with Hasbro is they can't keep up with pre-orders. They don't have enough production to keep up with pre-orders. You think they would learn their lesson by now, but I mean, me and Danny's been saying it for months on the show. Hasbro's about to hit their limit with Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree. And I while we're on the topic of Black Series, I want to ask you what you think about the new boxes that they're going to be putting them out in. Because
I hate the idea.
I'm not a fan of it at all. It really upsets me, honestly.
I hate the idea. The main problem I have with that is you're going to have these people who come in the stores and swap figures and take that figure out of the box and put another figure in the box. So you're not knowing what you're getting until you buy it.
Is this
Yeah.
because they're removing plastic from?
Yes.
Yeah.
No
Okay. I saw
bubbles.
that.
It's all cardboard.
From the company that makes a living off of making plastic toys. The toys are made out of plastic. I mean,
I hate
there's
it.
no
I don't understand them.
So if
there's
I'm
a
hearing you
way.
right, because
Go
I
ahead,
just don't
Nick.
understand. If I'm hearing you right, they're gonna encase these, so you literally can't see it until you buy it.
Exactly.
Just a
Oh.
picture of the figure on the box.
Yeah, that's risky. I said in the group chat this week that if I paid that for an action figure and I brought it home, even if it was the right one, I'm pretty sure my wife would slit my throat with the credit card. Put me out of my.
That's another problem that I've got with Hasbro right now. All of their normal figures, not even deluxe, are now deluxe prices, and their deluxe figures are double in price what they should be.
And the deluxe is like, hey, we added
like
something Java.
This Cobb Vanth is a deluxe, and he comes with 2 guns, a jetpack, and a helmet. You know what this Boba Fett comes with? The exact same thing.
Interesting, but one's deluxe and one's not.
Yeah, my Wrecker figure was considered deluxe, and that actually went on clearance. I was lucky enough to snag that for like $18. But I mean, Wrecker, all he has is his his little backpack and his helmet and the blaster. So it's like, even they'll sell something with a blaster and like a little tiny accessory and be like, it's deluxe because it comes with the accessory. Deluxe is getting beaten down. Deluxe does not mean deluxe
Yeah.
anymore.
It's inflation. It's watering down all of what deluxe is.
Yeah.
But
At least
God.
Lego told you, hey, we're just raising our prices because of whatever, which their prices raised astronomically, which is
Legos are
disappointing to me.
outrageous. I don't even
Yeah.
collect them anymore. I can't afford them.
They boosted sets like the you might not be able to see it, but I have the Darth Vader helmet up in the corner over here, and I got that for, I want to say, $55 or $60. I saw it for $80 the other day. I'm just like, oh my God, thank God I got it when I did. But yeah, the problem with Black Series switching to these cardboard figures is someone could buy it, and if they're good at, getting that tape off, they could get it, take the figure out, put a different figure or nothing inside of it, and return it to the store and just be like, oh, this isn't what I meant to buy. You get your money back for it, and there's no way of telling what's inside of it. You could put a rock inside of it if you really wanted to, and then someone might be the poor soul who goes and buys it and opens it up and has whatever. I mean, you need at least a little small window. Like you don't need to just go zero window at all. Like,
and that's another
give
thing.
me at least some visual.
For in-box collectors, as you can see, I keep my figures in the box. What's the point? I mean, that's no different than a poster on the wall. It's
almost no different than not buying it.
Yeah.
Because you can't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, at that point, I'll just look at it on my computer, man. Like, like I can't see it anyway. And true or false, the maybe what may stop that though is the draw is that they remain in the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it's like chicken and the egg.
Yeah, I just hope that whatever happens on the market really just gets them to just be like, we need to do something where you can see.
They need to lose the license.
Yeah.
Because they're not having any problems with Marvel or G.I. Joe. I mean, those figures are pumping out left and right.
Is that a demand thing though? Like, are people busting down the door for Marvel?
People collect those.
Some people are, yeah.
Really? Okay. I'm out of the toy world, so I don't know. I can't afford it. So
yeah, and I see like McFarlane will pump out figures with, like, McFarlane has the DC IP and everything, and they'll do like The Witcher and some other things like that. But like, there's other companies out there that are putting out figures with like incredible boxes. Like I'll tell you one thing, the horror figures, like I'm not a horror movie guy at all.
NECA.
Yeah. They put out some incredible stuff where it's like, they'll do like Terminator or It or, Jason, Halloween, stuff like that, where I'm looking at these figures just like stocked up, and I'm just like, I wish this company was doing Star Wars, because
and they've got it figured out too. Their boxes, they got the no bubble boxes, but they got the Velcro strap where you can open it up to actually see the figure. So you got the best of both worlds.
Yep. So trust me, yeah, it really upsets me. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it definitely upsets me.
Yeah, before you know it, D-Doc's back shelf is just going to be a wall of black boxes. You won't even be able to see what it is. It's just
I've seen it. I've seen it with Marvel. I've seen some of them already with Marvel, and I look at the box and I'm just like, and the prices. I haven't bought a Black Series figures for a little bit right now because I'm looking for them to go on sale, because I'm like, I can't, like, I love the oh my God, I'm like blanking on his name right now. I can't even think of it, but I can't even believe I'm blanking on his name, because we've talked about him multiple times in this episode, from Rogue One and Clone Wars and everything. Forrest Whitaker in it.
Oh, Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, Saw Gerrera. I can't believe I just blanked on Saw Gerrera, but his figure is incredible to me. I love it. I saw it in the store. It's $31, and I'm just like, I'm like, if I'm gonna spend 31, I'm gonna save that up and put it towards like the Lego ATT, which is gonna be like $150. It's hard to collect right now, man. It's hard. It's hard out there.
That's crazy. Well, hey, let me give you one more topic tonight, and I figured we end on this one. Happened this last week. John Boyega comes out in an interview or wherever it was saying that he has no interest in being in Star Wars again. And
Can't blame him.
that was literally where my head was, Chase, of like the first thing I read it, I was like, yeah, duh. Like, and the other thing that it made me do was it made me deeply sad about the state of what it's like to make new Star Wars right now, where, Chase, you mentioned earlier, the fan base being divided. I imagine that plays a large part into him not wanting to come back. I also think these, I so it was the other one we didn't talk about, but it's pertinent to this, is the Mark Ruffalo, Ewan McGregor back and forth, where Mark Ruffalo comes out of left field saying, if you watch Star Wars, it doesn't matter what they call it, you're going to get the same thing over and over and over again. And in Marvel, we've got these young directors that are now bringing, all this new to Marvel. Now, I don't think Marvel's got it all figured out either, because I feel like Marvel's cannibalizing itself to a degree.
Marvel is too woke for me, as they say now. They just throw in subtle little, like, I don't know if you watched She-Hulk yet.
I've not watched any of it yet.
So the first episode literally has She-Hulk saying that she can control her anger because she's a strong, independent woman. Like, who cares about that? I want to see Hulk rage. Like, I don't care.
Now, at the same point, there are probably some strong, independent women that are listening to Rule the Galaxy that are fist bumping.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. My problem is this is a superhero show. Like, this has got nothing to do with superhero.
So come back to our point where we were sitting on. We have Mark Ruffalo, who says this. Ewan McGregor says, well, I don't want to be a part of Marvel because I'm already, a part of this beautiful Star Wars universe. At the same point, you have these poor directors, just with the amount of directors you've seen jump ship from different things, or that they've parted ways on, that, to make anything that pushes any sort of boundary or edge is really difficult in Star Wars right now. And so one made me go, yeah, I don't blame him for not wanting to come back. At the same point, it did make me a little sad about the current state of Star Wars, and just the amount of scrutiny that goes into every single thing that is made. It just, I don't know, it felt like a little, like just a glimpse again into, the machine and kind of what it is. Other thoughts, other takes? I'm curious when you read that.
I feel like fans are just not fans anymore. Like, I feel like everybody feels like there's nothing wrong with having an opinion, but I feel like everybody nowadays is entitled to their opinion and their opinion only. And I'm just here to watch Star Wars or Marvel. Like, I don't care about political views or any of that stuff in these shows. I'm here for the characters and the story. I don't care about real world problems in these shows because they're not real world shows. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you just want to have that escape from the real world and everything. And yeah, it did make me sad with John Boyega, because like, this might sound a little bit stupid, but it's like when I watch these Lego like things, they bring in, Finn and Rey and Poe and everything, and their characters are a lot of fun in that, And I'm like, I feel like these guys almost did better justice in writing to the characters than the sequel trilogy did.
Yeah,
because they just know how to make it fun. They know maybe what the characters should have been. I don't know. Obviously there's a ton of jokes and it's all a lot of satire in that, but it's like, I just wish that John Boyega could have been a part of something where he had some damn good writers. And I mean, I always had this vision of like them coming back and making some kind of badass show with him training and with Rey in a different light as well and everything. Like, I think it could have been pretty cool. And I'd like to hope that if Disney ever throws a bag at John Boyega, he kind of has a second thought about it, and he can pick up that lightsaber and come back into Star Wars as a possible Jedi in training or whatever. But yeah, it did make me sad. I mean, it's like, we run a podcast. We like to talk Star Wars, and I'm active on Twitter, and it's like, you see what is said on there, you see what happens, and there's people who are just extreme fans. Like, I'm a Rey fan. If you say anything bad about Rey, I'm going to go full attack mode on you, and I'm going to tell everybody to go full attack mode, whatever. it can get a little wild out there. Like, I'm fine with Rey. There's things about the sequels I didn't like, but that's just me. I'm not telling you shouldn't love it because you love it. I'm happy you love it. There's things I love. I love the Eagles. Some people hate the Eagles, like for football. I relate it to sports. It is what it is. But yeah, it just made me a little bit sad. But he also kind of did give it a good send off as well. I read a bit of that article in his interview, and he did really kind of just say, like, I'm at peace with what happened with that, and I'm good to ride off in the sunset, and I see other people going into Star Wars who are doing good stuff, and whatever. It's just a shame that it's like Star Wars, him being a part of a Star Wars trilogy could be like a bad memory almost. It's hard to comprehend.
Well, and I'll say this too, maybe as the final piece on it. Nothing is done until the fat lady sings. And so, I mean, just go back to 2005 and you think about if you had told Hayden Christensen, hey, you want to come back and do some more Star Wars? He probably would have punched you in the face if you had said, you know what I'm saying? Like, no,
he would have been like,
I don't want to be, yeah, he would have.
That doesn't work out here, Hayden. All right.
Yeah, like it would be bad. And then, man, you fast forward, 17 years, and he goes to Celebration, and it's like the prodigal son has returned, and you get about this much of him, you already said it, D-Doc, with his face half covered, and all of Star Wars fandom loses their collective crap because he's back, like we got him back, and then you see him as a very old, disheveled looking Padawan, which is a whole nother thing we got to talk about at some point. But it kind of looks old and disheveled. But people lose their minds and they're like, it's back to what we thought it was going to be. And that, and so I just say that to go, he can say whatever he wants about not wanting to come back, but I do think that the sway of the fan base is cyclical, and so things seem really bad. We don't like it. We don't get it. Time does heal some wounds on that. And I wouldn't be shocked if, it's the Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man in No Way Home, right?
Yep.
Which collectively, those movies were good, but they've faded into obscurity, and then they bring them back and it blows the boxes off, or the doors off the box office, because people freaking love nostalgia.
It's like I said earlier, the people who grew up with the sequels are now the age of the people who were kids during the original trilogy. And the people who are growing up with the sequels in 20 years will be our age, and they feel about the sequels the way we do the prequels.
Yeah.
It's
and
just
John Boyega can shuffle himself out there on screen and people will love it, man. They'll be
20 years from now we're gonna get, the spin-off series or whatnot about stormtroopers, and Finn's gonna be a character, and everybody's
children of the stormtroopers and how they made it back.
And children of the Force or something like that, because now apparently all stormtroopers are Force sensitive.
And they'll pay off Captain Phasma as well too, and they'll rectify all.
What a waste of a character! That's such a waste of a character.
Everything will come back, and there'll be no more crying, and it'll be.
And I feel like the biggest ripoff of the sequels was Hux. In The Force Awakens, his character, you thought, I hate to say this, but this is the World War II Hitler of Star Wars. I got those vibes from this guy, and he's sinister. This is the new Imperial. And in the next two movies, he's like sidelined.
Yeah,
he turned into satire in those.
He
movies.
did.
Yeah.
And for me, there's not many gingers in Star Wars, so I was excited to possibly have a badass ginger character who the crowd might have hated, but whatever, but yeah, then you had Poe making your mama joke towards him or whatever.
It doesn't work with Star Wars.
You know what though? You were redeemed, D-Doc, with
Cal Kestis. Exactly.
Come on, the ultimate Jedi.
He's my hope.
Yeah. All throughout, actually referenced in one of the books in the Brotherhood book as the red-haired Jedi. So yeah,
really?
They do.
I haven't done Brotherhood.
They do
yet,
a quick little. Anakin and Obi-Wan are walking through the temple, and they say hello to, what's his master, Gerald?
I forget his
I'm
master's name.
blanking. You know who I'm talking about. They reference him and his redheaded Padawan.
Beautiful. I love it.
Come on, man. There's representation for you in Star Wars, my friend.
I love it.
So, hey guys, final thoughts. Chase, it's been so great having you on the show, man. Final thoughts as we close up from you.
I've just been a blast to be here. I love talking Star Wars with other people who have the same passion as I do for the hate of sequels and love of the original 6 movies.
Come on, man. Hey, tell everybody where they can follow you, how they can get your podcast, where you guys live.
So we're on all the major podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, and YouTube at Rodian Radio. It's all the same. Our socials on Instagram and Twitter, Rodian Radio Podcast, and our email is rodianradiopc@gmail.com. We try to put out episodes every Friday or Saturday. Sometimes it's every other Friday and Saturday. But I like to call us the news center for Star Wars because we don't talk about just one specific topic. We like to cover all the news updates and then bring in a side topic. Like, for example, one of our past shows we did, we had all of our listeners send in questions, and that was our main topic, is we just answered all of our listener questions.
That's cool.
So you can find us anywhere on Instagram, anywhere on Twitter, YouTube. So, yeah. A lot of fun.
Killer. Well, we so appreciate having you on. D-Doc, final words.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, and it was fun talking Star Wars as always. Like, I mean, that's my favorite part of this podcast is we could come on here with guys you never met before and just talk for hours, basically, about the thing that we love. So whether we like what we're talking about or dislike what we're talking about, we still can talk about it, and it's still fun. So that's the best part of all of it. So. And also, have any of you guys watched House of the Dragon? I'll keep it short, but are you guys Game of Thrones guys? Have you watched it yet? Nope. All right, that's fine.
I've watched The Witcher, but I've never.
We'll have to talk it another time, I guess. Figure it out.
Watch Game of Thrones. Watch House of the Dragon. It is freaking awesome. It was a great first episode of that show, and yeah, it might not be for if you're not into like It's definitely like blood, gore, intense, very, very adult show. But
so it's like a Gareth Edwards Star Wars war movie.
It's more than that, actually.
Oh wow,
it's bad. It's like if
good.
you want to basically see one of the most extreme like brutality shows you can see, it's that. But it's just the storytelling is incredible. So if you're a Thrones person, check out House of the Dragon. Pilot episode was incredible of it. So
there you go.
I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, friends, it's been so great being with you. Thanks so much, D-Doc and Chase, for being on the show today. And for everyone who's listening, thanks so much for jumping on and giving us another go. I know there's lots of Star Wars podcasts that you could choose from, really great ones, but we appreciate you taking the ride with us. And hey, I didn't do this at the beginning. I'm going to do it now. Follow us. If you don't follow us on Twitter at Rule the Galaxy SW, we have a Instagram page at Rule the Galaxy SW. You can email us rulegalaxysw@gmail.com. And we have a YouTube channel as well. D-Doc, tell them where they can hit us up on TikTok as well.
You can get us on TikTok at Rule the Galaxy Podcast, which I've been slacking a little bit for a week or so, but I'm getting back to putting content on there. So Rule the Galaxy Podcast, that's it on TikTok. We got some good stuff on there, show clips, toy collecting. The guys send me stuff in. So it's a fun little short clip area where you can find us.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, guys, we hope you have enjoyed the show. We look forward to be getting back with you on more stuff. Lots of great Star Wars stuff coming that we just can't wait to talk about. So that's all for now. Until next time, may the Force be with you.